So we came up to put his flower things up and to move his lights, but look at, and I want to say it was the weather, but I know it was whoever laid this one down. Rest in peace to you two, because since we've come, this thing done showed up, and this thing done showed up, and I know it's not a competition, but I feel that we need something bigger now. So, we're gonna clean this off, because you shouldn't get a job at a cemetery if you can't do your job and still respect what's already here.
Words.
Yeah, for the little intricate details with the toothbrush. All right, let's go, Billy.
Can I just pour the soapy water in here? Or what?
No, we're gonna get the dirt off first with this thing. Oh, that ain't nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
Is this one harder? Yeah. Yeah, there that goes. Right here.
good job, Mom. In like maybe like 10 more years, I'll have to start doing things for you.
What, I'm 50? You think I'm not gonna be able to do this at 50?
Well, I wouldn't want you on the floor. Right, so in 10 years.
I'ma still be down here. I told you I just made that noise because they told me I'm supposed to.
Because you were
Not because
manipulated
it's
by the
necessary.
social patriarchy.
Goddamn patriarchy. I'm just a weak woman.
Right? That was actually really bad. Like, why would they do that?
What, let me see that other.
Make that mess.
That was rude.
Yeah, I feel like that is rude. Because that's not even just a simple mess. That's literally like, I'm...
Fuck it.
Right? Right? That's what it feels like.
With the t-shirt.
This is a car wash special.
Yep. You probably do need some water to
Get the
wet
words.
this up because it's crusted in there now.
Gotcha.
But they're also helping the community. So what they're doing is they're showing that
The negative, I feel like Tupac is negative.
yeah, he definitely fucked this shit.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna tap my foot to it, but
He's definitely, all of these rappers are negative.
I feel like rap music in general is very.
It is. It didn't start out that way, but it is now. This is death. Is that good?
Yeah.
It's just promoting death to our community. Meanwhile, they go to their suburban homes and in their peaceful neighborhoods,
With the girls, the cars,
their
the money.
two-parent household, you know, and they're playing with their kids, even though their music is talking about fucking bitches, abandoning your family, killing it.
Right.
That's not the life they're living, but they're getting rich off of putting this message out there. Get
Ruining
people-
everybody else's lives, basically.
You wanna get my old ass standing up?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Y'all, that chair right there, or bench, says home with God, which is far better. Why is being dead better than being alive? Like, that's really something worth contemplating. Let's talk the different phases of living and dying. What's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton here. If you have a couple of minutes, I have a couple of messages. I'm not quite sure why I've been contemplating this topic, but I was on the phone with a friend the other day, and I was like, you know what? I'm finally to a space in my life where I'm okay if I kick the bucket. Not saying I want to kick the bucket, but I'm at peace if it happens. And then today when I log into one of these platforms, I see that my husband has posted, after reviewing my life, I'm able to say that I am truly satisfied with the life that I lived. And we may not have been talking the same thing as me on the conversation on the phone and him posting his post, but I was like, okay, he gets it. Now, Teacher Taylor has entered the chat because that was my last name when I was an educator. And I got my handy dandy whiteboard. Now the print or the font isn't beautiful because I was writing backwards because one of my, was it Grandma G? I think Grandma G said I messed up her whatever because I had her reading backwards. So I wrote backwards so that it's not backwards for you guys. All right, Grandma, you got me out here working extra. After all this hard work, I hope you like, comment, and copy, share, link, because I wrote backwards for y'all. So we're going to go through these. These are not in any order. They're in the order that I remembered them. Number 1, you don't see the point. Number 2, fear. 3, unaliving. 4, satisfied. This may be multiple parts because I want to go into each phase according to me Lonnie Appleton. Even though Teacher Taylor has entered the chat, I want to go and cover all of these phases because I believe that all of us at some point in our lives have been in every single one of these stages. The hardest one to reach, of course, number 4. Let's go. Number 1, don't see the point. This is the phase that my teenager is in. This is the phase that I was in when I was a teenager, in most of my 20s, and I entered other phases in my 30s. But most of my 20s, my teens, I didn't see the point. Because we think when we're younger, our world is only as big as our world is. So if this is it, waking up, going to school, spending X amount of hours in a place I don't want to be with a bunch of people I don't like, what is this what life is? I don't see the point. People who are in the don't see the point phase, if that sustains for too long, because usually in your teens you understand, once I get out of high school I could then start creating my life. But once you get out of high school and you're still not creating the life that you desire, then you kind of swing into number 3. I will talk about number 3 in my next video because I'm out of space. But I will say number 2, fear. That's pretty self-explanatory. So that's the end of number 2. All right, y'all, you're talking to different phases of living and dying according to me, Lonnie Appleton. What's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton here. If you have a couple of minutes, Teacher Taylor has entered the chat and brought out the whiteboard. And I even dipped into my I made the extraterrestrial bag and wrote backwards for you guys because you said I was messing you all up when I was writing, when it's straight for me, and then the mirroring effect, and it just goes all bad. The first video we covered, you don't see the point. And we started to edge into number 3. Number 2 is self-explanatory. You don't want to die, you're afraid. You don't know why you're afraid. You just don't, you're not ready to go. I ain't accomplished what I came to this earth for. I don't know what I came here for, but I don't want to go. So that's number 2. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's talk number 3. I spent my 30s, bleeps in my 20s, bleeps in my teens, bleeps in my childhood. This is something to pay attention to in number 3. I don't know, it's just, I had a pretty messed up childhood. I did. But now that I look at, I'm dealing with this with my children, not my children, singular, not plural. I'm dealing with this with my child, and I'm like, man, your life is dope. Like, yeah, there's things that you don't have, and yes, you get told no and whatever, but for the most part, your life is dope. Why are you number 3? I can see for me because, man, I literally had to make a Whopper last 3 days because if I didn't, I wouldn't eat. That was my childhood. So I get my perspective. I get that I started with such a far deficit that I had to start teaching myself at 18, and I wasn't the best teacher, so I get struggling and fumbling and trying to figure out and all those things, so I get it, but how are you experiencing that at 10? And your life is pretty dang cushy. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, circumstantial-wise or clinically-wise, but as I talk to more and more of my friends and I start opening up about what I'm dealing with my child, there's a lot of Me Too's out there. Like, there's an alarming number of Me Too's of parents who have children who are not even teenagers yet, who have either attempted, successfully completed, or are contemplating. So that's really something we need to pay attention to. Why are our children in this space? What are they consuming that's taking them there? Because when I was a child, I did not hear about number 3 except on the news. And that's actually a good story to tell, so I'll tell it in part 3.